How I design the meaning of my life onto my arm. Ever since I started creating content, I began to ask, what's the meaning of my tattoo? It's a deep story, and I think I'm ready to share. It symbolizes what I overcame, how we're here on earth, how we're able to dream, my philosophies on life, masculine, feminine energy, and yeah, much more. Tattoos are an ancient practice that dates back thousands of years. I'm sure even millions. The earliest proof we can get is from the Otzi the Iceman, which was from 33,000 BCE. His mummified body was discovered in the Alps in 1991 in Austria. I think he had over 60 tattoos. Tattoos were also found in ancient Egypt, Polynesian islands, ancient China, and Japan, and many other ancient cultures. While tattoos have many different meanings across all cultures, I was always connected with ancient reasoning. Tattoos are a form of self-expression or aesthetic choice in the modern age. In ancient cultures, it served for many different reasons. Spiritual protection was one of them through the thoughts of, ward off evil spirits, protect in the afterlife, or grant special powers. The other one was identity and belonging, tribes, family lineage. The other one was rites of passage, becoming a warrior or undergoing a spiritual journey. Another one could be spiritual devotion, so faith and commitment. And I think the other one was connection with nature or ancestors, so connect with ancestral spirits. Now, there are many reasons for tattoos, and in the end, they're all personal. I, on the other hand, decided to, put what life meant to me and where I plan to go. So you ready? Let's dive into it. So we'll split this up into 7 stages. We'll start at the beginning and make our way to the end. So from birth to death, or should I say rebirth. I want to add, I spent over 8 years mentally designing this tattoo. It all came full circle during my 6-month backpacking trip in Indonesia, Bali. I found a local artist, and he just had those ancient roots, and I loved his style. So at stage 1, we have the Lotus. Growing up, I had to overcome some challenges, no different than most of society. I'd rather not talk about my family. That's not my story to tell. I'd rather just share my experiences and my perception. Growing up in high school, I was a people pleaser and made friends with everybody. I chose quantity over quality, popular over deep. Played all the sports and was big in hockey. I also smoked a lot of weed and sold it to all my sport friends. I ended up getting deeper into drugs, and that carried over into my early 20s. I eventually hit a breaking point where I no longer wanted to be here on earth. I never thought of taking my life, but I just had zero motivation, no drive, no confidence, and I knew I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be in the avatar that I created, so I decided to change directions, abandon the current path I'm on, and take a completely different path. I moved away from my small town to the biggest city in Canada. Went to uni for business, started reading a bunch of books, listened to podcasts, surrounded myself with a different crowd. I just completely changed my environment. Enter the lotus flower. The lotus flower is the root of my existence, and I believe it's the root to everybody's existence, including you. Let me share what I read about 8 years ago that locked in that belief for me. So according to the Buddhist philosophy, there are many meanings, but here are the 2 that really connected with me. Symbol of purity and transformation. It has many growth patterns. It emerges from the murky depth of a pond or a muddy waterbed, but yet remains untouched by the muck. It symbolizes purity by the heart and mind. Despite growing from the mud, it blossoms clean and fragrant. The other thing is, mud and blossom analogy, which I read about, was really cool. The mud represents ignorance, and the blossoming of the lotus flower symbolizes gaining enlightenment. The lotus flower rises above the water to bloom. Individuals rise above the world's suffering to realize their true nature. To me, it reflects that humans can rise above their surroundings, desires, or sufferings and achieve their happiness. So let me share a short yet deep quote. No mud, no lotus. You need to experience and overcome your past to become the person you want to be. That's just how it is. Stage 2, slow life. Now, this is the only part of the tattoo that I got when I first moved to Toronto, so like about 8 years ago. It connects my deep value of life and how I want to live my life. It symbolizes the slow life movement. It was a logo of a song from Of Monsters and Men, and symbolizes a slow pace of life. Emphasizes mindfulness, intentionally, and quality over quantity. The key is to be fully present and engage in the moment. Instead of rushing through tasks or multitasking, just do one thing at a time with full intention. It also emphasizes sustainability and ethical choices. Supporting local and reducing my ecological footprint was huge on me. Another key thing is work-life balance. challenging the modern obsession with productivity and hustle culture, and instead focusing on the rest and enjoying what Earth has to offer. This other quote, life is a journey, not a race. Love that one. So stage 3, the Buddha. I'll keep this simple. I'm not a Buddhist. I believe in their philosophy and how they go about life. Buddhism has saved my life and has given me a purpose greater than me. I live by their values, and this is my faith. Here are 7 key things from their philosophy that I live by. The 4 Noble Truths. So these are the central teachings of Buddhism that diagnose the human condition and offer a path to happiness. So the first one is suffering. All beings experience suffering in life. The second one is cause of suffering. The root of suffering is attachment, desire, and ignorance. The third one is cessation of suffering. It's the possible to end this suffering. And number 4 is the path. The path to the sensation of suffering is the Noble Eightfold. So the Noble Eightfold Path, this is a guide to ethical and mental development leading to enlightenment. They use the word enlightenment. I use the word happiness, peace, and purpose. But they're all. First one is a right view, right intentions, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. The third thing that I really like is they say there are 3 reasons why all humans suffer, which I mentioned earlier. They call it the 3 poisons. So attachment, aversion, which is like hatred, and ignorance. I work on these 3 things every day to help me minimize my mental suffering. The 4th thing is no self. Buddhism teaches that there's no permanent self or soul. Everything is impermanent and changing. 5, impermanence. All conditioned things are impermanent. Understanding this helps reduce attachment and suffering. And number 6, karma and rebirth. So actions have consequences, and these consequences can span across lifetimes. Current life is a result of actions from previous lives, and one's future life will be shaped by actions taken in the present moment. And the last thing that I really like is meditation. A core practice in Buddhism, meditation helps cultivate mindfulness, concentration, and insights. There are various forms of meditations within Buddhism, each with its specific purpose and techniques. Stage 4, the pineal gland. This part signifies my spiritual life and beliefs. This is the most fascinating organ in the human body, in my opinion. It was one of my first YouTube videos a long time ago, very bad video. You can go take a look if you're curious, but let me summarize quickly. It's considered to be the spirit molecule. In the eastern part of the world, they call it the third eye. It produces and releases DMT, which is, I'm going to butcher the name, but dimethyltryptamine. DMT is a powerful psychedelic substance that induces intense visions and can produce profound mystical experiences. Some theorize it releases a small amount during dreaming, meditation, or near-death experiences. It's the seat of the soul, according to René Descartes, believes it's the connection between the intellect and the body. It plays a pivotal role in our sleep-wake cycle by producing melatonin. It plays a pivotal role in biologically connecting us to the rhythms of the universe. Releases serotonin. It's a neurotransmitter that contributes to our feelings of well-being and happiness. In Tibetan Buddhism, they believe your entire soul, energy, and spirit leaves up to 49 days after death. And coincidentally, it's around the 49th day that the pineal gland first appears in the human's fetus. So what I'm seeing is when you pass away, according to Tibetan Buddhism, which is 6,000 plus years, the soul leaves the body up to 49 days. It can leave day 1, day 10, but it leaves up to 49 days. And the fetus, when a new baby is born in the fetus, the pineal gland is discovered in the mind, in the brain, in the body, in the womb at the 49-day mark. Interesting. I can go on with the mystical stuff around this pine cone shaped in the brain, but one last thing, when observed under a microscope, the internal composition of the pineal gland reveals structure of sacred geometry. This is what blew my mind. Specifically when magnified to the level of about 1/20th the width of a strand of human hair. The crystallized formation within the gland appear to resemble patterns of sacred geometry, which is the part of my elbow. These patterns are believed to be representative of the fundamental blueprint of existence and the universe. Stage 5, enlightenment, nirvana, and nature, I call it. This part of my arm is how I see the future. where my path is bringing me, I use it as a form of inspiration. If I continue to follow the earlier parts of my arm, I will end up in Nirvana. What Nirvana means to me, I look at Nirvana as nature. Nature as a teacher. The rhythms, cycles, and laws governing the natural world can provide insights into the nature of existence and the self. You can meditate anywhere in nature. The sounds, the breathing, and the growth are all amazing. Nature is healing. It can heal every part of your body, from the plants to the aromatherapy to the food, all the way to the frequencies of the earth. Nature acts as a mirror to our inner state. Nature is immediate manifestation of the cosmos. Nature will always be part of me and my future. Stage 6, the flower of life. Now, this can also go very deep. I'll give you the quick points. It dates back to over 10,000 years. This symbol was discovered in temples in Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Mesopotamian, and India. Creation and unity. So the central circles in the pattern can represent the process of creation, where each circle symbolizes a day. The overlapping circles emphasizes unity and interconnectedness. It's like a blueprint of the universe. Many believe the flower of life to contain a blueprint of the entire universe, encoding the patterns of creation as they emerge from the great void. By drawing straight lines from the center of certain circles within the flower of life, another significant form called Metatron's cube. This figure encompasses all of the platonic solids, which are the foundational structures of life and the building blocks of the universe, according to many philosophical traditions. Beyond its standalone significance, the flower of life is related to other forms of sacred geometry, like the tree of life in Kabbalistic teachings, the Sri Yantra in the Hindu tradition, underlying its universal appeal and symbolism. To me, it symbolizes the creation universe, us. And now stage 7. This is the masculine and feminine energy. This is my yin and yang. This last part is found from top to bottom, all across my arm. It touches everything. It signifies energetic balance. It's the yin and yang of my existence, what I put into practice every day to become better and more balanced. Just as the natural world thrives on a balance of yin and yang, individuals flourish when they achieve a harmonious balance between their masculine and feminine energies. An excess or deficiency in either leads to imbalance and disharmony. Interconnectedness, it's the yin and yang symbol where a dot of yin exists within the yang and vice versa. Undercoats the idea that these energies are not opposing forces but complementary ones. They coexist and interdependent. Here's a sheet that shows the feminine and masculine energies, the balanced and the wounded. This is a sheet I use to understand what I need to heal and what I need to be grateful for. Take a screenshot, pause the video, and keep this from memory. As you can see, this tattoo on my arm is a flow of my existence. From what I've overcome, to how I live my life, to how I see the philosophy of life, to the pineal gland that allows me to connect with deeper levels than just the material world, to how we're all connected with plants, earth, and the cosmos, to the depth of our energies. Anyways, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed the depth of my arm and how I see life in the universe and that kind of stuff. If you have any questions, drop a comment and we'll see you next video. Ciao.